Steph, you had 22 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. How do you describe how you were able to impact this win tonight?
I just think my teammates and my coaches, they put me in a lot of good positions to be successful. I talked to Coach Pop earlier. He just said be aggressive, be yourself and go out there and have fun. And just to have those guys as teammates in the upcoming season, I know I'm gonna be able to learn a lot from them. So I'm just excited for sure. I was gonna send them something before the game, but I was like, I'm gonna wait till after because you never know how it's gonna go. But that's my guy. So it's really a dream come true for to play against my brother in a summer league game like this.
So the long-awaited NBA season is finally on the way, and all eyes are already focused on seeing who the breakout stars will be. Well, as far as the 2024 drafts is concerned, there are more than a few youngsters to watch out for. But word on the street is that one man is already proving to be the most complete and well-rounded of them all. And his name is Stephon Castle. Now, that's a name you probably haven't heard much of over the summer, right? Well, make no mistake, because this dude is an absolute baller, as he's already showing, and it's a wonder that nobody is really talking about him. This is a player that Wemby himself had desperately wanted over in San Antonio, and you bet it wasn't any fluke that the San Antonio Spurs made him their priority youngster and the 4th overall pick in the 2024 drafts. But who the heck is this wonder kid anyway? What's so special about him, really? And most importantly, why did Wemby want him to join the Spurs so badly? Well, come along as we take a sneak peek at the youngster's journey so far, and how he could well be the San Antonio Spurs' new wild card for the season. Oh, and you definitely want to stick around until the end to find out why the Rookie of the Year picked him specifically. Ready? Here we go. Now, Castle's rise to the NBA and his selection by the San Antonio Spurs was never a coincidence. It had been a delightful blend of talent, hard work, dedication, and loyalty. But to understand how and why his journey has brought him to San Antonio, we need to talk about how it all started for the young phenom. Born on the 1st of November 2004, Stephon Javante Castle grew up in Covington, Georgia, where he also learned to bounce the orange round leather ball. His father, Stacey Castle, was also a pro baller in his days, so there's no debating where the young kid picked up his keen interest in the beautiful game. Oh, and there's no denying that he was good at it either, because he had already started dazzling in his early years. Young Stephon attended Newtown High School, and it was there that he really started to develop into the beast of a baller that he now is. His record of 16.6 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 3.2 assists per game in his junior year was all it took to show the entire basketball world that there's a new kid on the block, and this kid can play. But little did they know that even then, this absolute talent was just getting started. Now, if he had impressed in his junior year, his senior year was what you'd call a complete masterclass, as he went on to record an even better 20.1 points, 10 rebounds, 4.8 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks per game. His contributions helped carry his high school team to the quarters of the Class 7A contest, and even earned him a place in the 2023 McDonald's All-American Boys Game. As you'd expect, his stocks went up, and colleges from far and wide were clamoring to get the 4-star recruit in as their starting point guard. In the end, however, Castle opted to play for the Yukon Huskies, but little did he know that this decision would turn out to be pivotal in his journey to the NBA. But folks, before we go any further to show you the details of Stephon Castle's magic college career, kindly take a second to leave a like and subscribe to this channel to help us grow. This will make a huge difference to us, and in doing so, we can continue creating more new and exciting content for you guys. Done that? Great. Now, just how good is Stephon Castle? Well, for anyone who has seen this young sensation do what he does best on the court, there's absolutely no other convincing needed, because players like Stephon just have a way of making the most memorable impressions. It's in the way he plays, the way he carries himself on the court, and the way he goes about his business like a pro with several all-star appearances under his belt. Tell you what, the only convincing you'll need while watching this exciting young baller is that he's actually only a teenager working his way to the top. And even that will take you a while to believe. As a young guard rapidly imposing himself on the game, Stephon always plays with a positive intensity that makes him a force to reckon with on the court. Whether he's orchestrating attacks or putting in his shift in defense, The 6'5" point guard never fails to put in maximum effort. His never-ending drive to win is what sponsors his incredible energy game in game out, and you can easily see how it also rubs off on his teammates. This particular quality came to the fore when he helped his UConn team to an NCAA championship triumph in his lone year with them. Stephon was more than instrumental in that Huskies run, recording 11.1 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 2.9 assists per game to snatch the Big East Freshman of the Year award. Of course, while his high intensity is hard to miss, there's much more to Stephon's game than the unquenchable energy he brings. He's also a very smart baller, and you can often tell in the way he outmaneuvers opponents and helps his team rack up points in the attack. Of course, there have been a few unanswered questions about his three-point shooting and his general ability to find the basket from outside the perimeter. His 26.7% three-point shooting accuracy from last season tells the tale of his woes from beyond the arc. The young lad also shows an obvious weakness in the jump shooting department, while his weak pull-up game can often make it a little bit easier for defenses to take the sting out of their attacks. However, Stephon is still only 19 and has a lot of time to work on this perceived weakness. Moreover, his all-around excellence often makes up for his shortcomings, and he's an excellent finisher from the field. He also boasts a decent free throw percentage, which goes to show that hope is not lost for his long-range shooting. Castle is also a creator, and this is one aspect that increases the general appeal of his game. That, and the fact that he also boasts near-perfect decision-making. His size also allows him to bully his way through defenses if the need arises, but he'll typically prefer to dazzle his way through using his pristine footwork. But then, for all of his attacking impetus, it's his defensive prowess that really sets him apart as one of the best young talents in the country. The way he reads the game excellently and knows to cover spaces before they get exploited is pure class. His perimeter defense is one of the best you'll get from the current rookies, and he's nearly impossible to shake off when he steps up to guard an attacker. Like a tick, he stays glued to ball handlers, pestering them and fighting through screens until he successfully disrupts the attack. No doubt, he's an asset on both ends of the court, and that's why the San Antonio Spurs were all over him on draft night. Now, for people wondering why the San Antonio-based franchise couldn't wait to get their hands on this young baller, well, you'll be pleased to know that it was by all means a targeted pursuit. First of all, it has become a general opinion that there's not a single more complete or ready-made player than Stephon Castle in this year's draft class. He's the real definition of a well-rounded player, and that's a profile that Spurs may well profit from. But then it even gets more interesting when you find out that the Spurs' main man, Victor Wembanyama, had signed off on this draft pick. Talk about high approval, right? But what is it about Castle that makes him so highly rated by the current NBA Rookie of the Year? Well, for one, the fact that Stephon is a complete player makes him a delight to play alongside. He's the kind of player that automatically makes any team he plays in better, and you get the feeling he'll be the right fit for the new project going on at Spurs. However, there's a slight notion that the Spurs' obsession with the young guard may also have other roots. Remember when we talked about Stephon's dad, Stacy, and his pro basketball history? Well, it turns out he wasn't just any baller, but a member of that famous Wake Forest team of '93 that also featured Spurs legend and NBA Hall of Famer Tim Duncan. So word on the street is that Spurs are... So the long-awaited NBA season is finally on the way, and eyes are already focused on seeing who the breakout stars will be. Well, as far as the 2024 drafts is concerned, there are more than a few youngsters to watch out for, but word on the street is that one man is already proving to be the most complete and well-rounded of them all, and his name is Stephon Castle. Now, that's a name you probably haven't heard much of over the summer, right? Well, make no mistake, because this dude is an absolute baller, already showing, and it's a wonder that nobody is really talking about him. I mean, this is a player that Wemby himself had desperately wanted over in San Antonio. And you bet it wasn't any fluke that the San Antonio Spurs made him priority youngster and the 4th overall pick in the 2024. But who the heck is this wonder kid anyway? What's so special about him, really? Importantly, why did Wemby want him to join the Spurs so badly? Well, come along as we take a sneak peek at youngster's journey so far and how he could well be the San Antonio Spurs' new wild card for the season. Oh, and you definitely want to stick around until the end to find out why the Rookie of the Year picked him specifically. Here we go. Now, Castle's rise to the A and his selection by the San Antonio Spurs was never a coincidence. It had been a delightful hard work, dedication, and loyalty. But to understand why his journey has brought him to San Antonio, we need to talk about how it all started for the young phenom. Born on the 1st of November 2004, Stephon Castle